I have to ask you, do you think Pacheco is ready for Canelo now? And if so, like Benavidez, Pacheco's a younger Mexican American who's bigger, who's longer. So do you think Canelo would actually face Pacheco?
I got to answer your question direct. I, I'm not saying he's afraid, this or that. What I'm saying is Pacheco represents a bad matchup style wise for Canelo at this point in Canelo's career. Canelo's been pro since what, 15, 16? He's been around a long time. He's not real old. What's he, 33, 34 in that area? But I think he's slipping a little bit. Everyone does. A little bit. He's still terrific. He's great, Canelo. He's a great counterpuncher. He's got power. He's achieved great things. But when you start getting older, and Canelo is getting older, and you start slowing down a little bit in certain areas, which everybody does, the first thing that's a problem for the older fighter, I touched on it earlier, is legs. Legs. Legs! Where it's harder to close a gap with the older legs. You're more susceptible. The style, the physical style of Pacheco is a nightmare matchup, I believe, for Canelo. Much more than Munguia, much more than Berlanga. Berlanga might engage him. Berlanga might move a little bit. He might engage him. That's good for Canelo because Canelo's, you engage him. He's experienced. He's a good puncher. He's a terrific counter puncher. He can counter you. He can catch you. He can hurt you. Munguia engaged him. He hurt him. He dropped him. You can't counter a guy that's as tall and long as Pacheco and knows how to use that length and stays on the outside. There's nothing to counter. Yeah, you're going to shadow box all night. There's there's nothing to counter. And I've already seen proof that Pacheco shows the discipline to know his identity, that you could depend on him to stay with it. If he stays, he still might need one fight. I still think he might need one. For me to be comfortable, I want Pacheco to get one more. But you got to be careful who you're fighting at this point because you don't want to lose your mandatory spot because you are the mandatory to Canelo. So if anything, you want to force Canelo to show he don't want to fight you. You know, if you got to fight him, you got to fight him. But you want to show Canelo, maybe let him be the one who says, no, I'm going to give up that title. You know, I got 2 other titles. I'm going to give up that title. I'm not going to go that way. And then you could go another direction. Eddie Hearn already said, his promoter, that he would love a Munguia fight. Huge fight in California. Huge fight. But there's danger to that fight. There's danger to all the top fights. I think Canelo wants no part of him for the reason I just laid out. That the style at this point in his life with this 23-year-old kid who can punch, who's got a freaking jab as long as a phone pole, I don't think that Canelo's going to jump at that. You know, he's already shown he has no problem avoiding guys that he doesn't feel comfortable with. And he's the golden goose. He can get away with it. He gets paid no matter who he fights. He gets good numbers. He can get away with it. He can avoid Benavidez. He can avoid, whoever he wants to avoid. And look, he earned it by being a pay-per-view king. Okay, all right, I'm not arguing that. But I am arguing that if you want to be the greatest, that you got to think a little bit like the greatest thought, which is to fight everybody. To show you're the greatest. But I'm not here to beat up on Canelo because Canelo doesn't, there's nothing to beat up on. He's had a great career. He still has a great career. He's facing Berlanga, a young, talented, undefeated fighter next. But again, just to solidify the answer, which I think I did on your question, a good question, but I don't think Canelo... I don't think Canelo wants any part of him right now. Not with what he saw the other night, and just the physics of it. The physics of it is a difficult. It's just a difficult play for Canelo at this point.
Yeah, if you're not going to fight Benavidez and the name recognition that comes along with him, why would you take the chance and the risk when there's not as much reward and fight Pacheco? So
Great
I
point.
agree with you, but I have to ask you, touching on the Berlanga Canelo fight, would you rather see, even though you said Pacheco is probably a fight away from fighting Canelo, would you rather see him fighting Canelo coming up next weekend as opposed to Edgar Berlanga?
All right, I answered this right, Bud. Great question. I answered, and I'm sure the fans are happy you're asking these. I answered this way. I think I might have answered already, but I'll answer specifically and make it very clear. I think that Pacheco's is a more dangerous fight than Berlanga. That's my answer. Would I rather see that? Yes. Yes, I would rather see that. Taking nothing away from Berlanga. Berlanga's a young, talented kid. He hasn't learned how to lose yet. I think he falls into the category of Magia, where he's not quite ready, not quite maybe another fight or two, not quite mentally ready to handle this huge spotlight, this huge stage, and this very good fighter. But maybe I'm wrong, because there's one X factor, and you know what the X factor is, Bud. I know you know what it is. Fighters get old, and you don't know when that's going to happen. You just don't know when that's going to happen. That's the one X factor. Canelo gets old. He just gets old. Bang. He goes, oh, my goodness. What the heck happened to Cinnamon? Whoa. I knew that would get a chuckle out of somebody. What happened to Cinnamon? He got old, Cinnamon. What can we do now? Well, you could sprinkle him on your coffee, but otherwise... No, he's had it. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. But, yeah, I'd rather see. Look, I'm not saying I'm not going to watch Berlanga. That's going to be interesting. I'm anxious to watch that. But, yeah, I just think that it's a more difficult matchup for Canelo against Pacheco.
168-pound division heating up, Pacheco or Berlanga?
Pacheco, I think I probably made that clear. I think Pacheco with his style is difficult for anybody, and he's sticking with it. He's consistent with it. I think he's difficult. He's dangerous, and yeah, that's it. Next,
sticking with Pacheco because I was so impressed by him. I just want to throw out some random names to you in the 168-pound division and just get your quick take on.
All right,
Pacheco, Christian Mbelli.
Pacheco. Mbelli's going to come at you, made to order for Pacheco, catch him coming in. The only problem is if he does get in, Mbelli might set up shop and, do a little something. But otherwise, I like Pacheco.
How about Pacheco against Derevyanchenko? Would that be the fight you'd like to see? One more fight as another tune-up before a Canelo fight?
Honestly, I want to see Derevyanchenko retire. I love him. His legs look old. He's taken a lot of punishment. He had a big amateur career. He's fought only top guys, champions. He's fought everyone, Triple G, everybody he's fought. Some people thought he could have got it against Triple G. I love Derevyanchenko. He's made money. Thank God. God bless. But I don't know that he should be fighting, and especially fighting dangerous guys like this. He's a guy that's never been stopped, obviously, and if he continues, that will change.